Hello everyone, welcome to the Titans of the Industry. Today's episode is sponsored by Orange Coast College. We are thrilled to have a huge Titan in the industry to join us today. Please give a warm welcome to the one and only Bruce Cook.
Did you say Titanic of the industry?
Titan.
Oh,
Titan, you're a Titan of the industry.
How are you, Brian?
Pretty good, how are you doing today?
Good to be here, thank you.
That's great, Bruce. Absolutely pleasure to have you. So, I want to ask you, what motivated you to become a TV producer?
Hunger and desperation. Seriously, no, it sort of just happened, Brian. I started wanting to be an actor. Didn't last too long. It wasn't the right thing for me. And then just went looking for jobs, trying to figure out how to break into the business, and finally did after a lot of struggle. And after time and work, moved up the ranks.
And how fast did you move up the ranks?
I moved up incredibly fast,
Yeah.
Too fast. At 23 years of age, I was the youngest national television producer in the business. I was
Wow.
the producer of the Red Fox Show. Don't ask me how it happened that fast, but it did. From starting at the very bottom.
From the very bottom. What's the very bottom?
$80 a week passing out tickets to a Mary Tyler Moore show
From $80 a week.
in 3 years' time.
So from $80 a week to producing the Super Bowl. Can you explain how that felt?
Well, Super Bowl came 20 years later,
No.
but a lot of steps
Yeah.
along the way. It was magic. It was just magic. Entertainment business can be magic. So any students watching this today, don't forget there is magic involved. Despite all of the hard work and the hard luck also, there's magic, and it can happen. It happened to me. I don't know why, but it did.
Well, you said hard work.
Hard work.
That's what got you there.
Hard work
That's great.
and belief in yourself.
So what other memorable moments, other than the Super Bowl, can you share with us?
Well, there's a whole bunch. I mean, I really should write a book, but nobody would really care that much because it's not so much about.
I'd read it. I'd read it.
You would?
I would read it, yeah.
Actually, I brought one with me from what I've written. I want you to have a copy. I will
Oh,
sign it.
nice. Yeah.
Along the way, some interesting things. And I don't want to sound like I'm boasting or bragging, but just incredible experiences. I actually gave Leonardo DiCaprio his very first acting job. He was 8 years old. And his mother, I was a writer actually, not the producer. I was a writer on the show Lassie, the show with the dog.
Never watched it, but I'll watch it, yeah.
You've never even heard of it, but that's
No, I
all right.
didn't, yeah.
His mom, who he's still, as most people know, incredibly close with, brought him to an audition to be a kid on this episode of Lassie. And we gave him that job.
Wow, his first job, 8 years old.
First job. Leo DiCaprio. Incredible, lots of experiences. Have you ever heard of Elizabeth Taylor?
No,
Come
I
on.
think I might have. That name sounds
The most famous
familiar.
actress in American movie history.
No, yeah, no. Sounds familiar. A little bit,
Elizabeth Taylor. I'm on the beach in Mexico. I was the producer of a show called Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. And we were doing an interview with Elizabeth Taylor on set, on location, on the beach in Mexico, where she and her former husband, Richard Burton, had acted in a movie together many years earlier. Elizabeth Taylor had been lied to. She thought that a crew from ABC Good Morning America was coming to do the interview, but it wasn't. It was Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous that was coming. Don't ask me how to explain that. Anyway, I get there. Elizabeth Taylor comes out, and she finds out that I'm not from Good Morning America. She literally picks up sand on the ground on the beach and starts throwing at me, "Go away, go away." I didn't go away. I stood my ground, by the end of the interview, we became friends. And from that point on, and this was young in my career, we were friends until she died. What lesson is in that? You never know what to expect. Deal with the moment.
Mm-hmm. So Bette Davis, how was it like working with her?
Last interview she ever did, I was producing Entertainment Tonight, and we had a chance to interview Bette Davis, but she wouldn't come into the studio, and she wanted something very simple and intimate and private and protected. So I asked her if she would come to my house, and she did. And we sat down and did the interview in my living room in my house. And at the time, I had one child who was, I think, about 5 years old at the time. And there's a famous Bette Davis line in one of her early movies where in her voice, and I don't do impressions, so I can't really do it, but the line is, "What a dump." She walks into a situation in the movie and she says that line. I coached my daughter when she came over to take her to her room and show her her room. And when she brought Bette Davis into her room, she would turn around to her and say, "What a dump," in her bedroom. Bette Davis loved it. She was putty in our hands from that moment on. She would talk about anything. Just felt at home. Mm-hmm. Great. It was a great moment.
How important do you think it is for the person to be comfortable, the person that you're working with to be comfortable with you?
It is very important, but it's also very rare. I'll tell you right now that I don't think I ever met a celebrity that was comfortable about anything, ever. Guarded, very insecure, very nervous. Good actors could disguise it, but comfort, there is no such thing.
Why is that?
Because everybody wants a piece of you. Everybody wants to know you. Everybody wants to work with you. Everybody wants to benefit from you. Everybody wants to be your friend. Everybody wants to sit with you in a restaurant and get good attention. It's very, very hard, and it's very difficult to be a celebrity.
How can you distinguish the fake people from the real?
Impossible.
Yeah, that sucks. I think it's very hard too.
The only way is when you get to know, if you have a chance to get to know someone, and you have to have your antenna up. You gotta look for red flags, because they're everywhere. And assume nothing.
Assume nothing from who?
From whomever it is you're working. Give everything you can, expect nothing, assume nothing, and always be paying attention.
Okay. Before we go, I want to know what advice you could give to the future producers and the future actors. What do you have?
Don't do it unless you are 100% committed. There's no such thing as falling back. If your parents tell you, get that degree because you have to have something to fall back on when you fail as an actor, as a writer, producer, director, whatever it is in entertainment that you want to be, don't believe them. Do not have anything to fall back on, because if you have something to fall back on, I guarantee you, you will. You will fall back.
Wow. That's great, Mr. Cook.
Your parents are going to hate me for that, but it's the truth.
No, I don't think so. No, I don't think it'd be because of you.
Mr. Chavez, would you be okay with that?
Yeah, I don't think it'd be because of you.
Okay, well, then I've done my job.
Yeah. Well, Bruce, I really appreciate your time here. I really appreciate your insight and your wisdom. My God, he doesn't go. And a special shout out to our friends at OACC for making this happen. To our listeners, thank you for joining. Until next time, take care and reach for the stars.